on on Facebook, which is a really great one to be able to use if you guys want to stream to different platforms. Fortunately, it doesn't do Instagram. All right, guys, let me flip you around and let's get going. All right. Sorry for the lagging intro, guys. I was getting Instagram set up for this. I want to dive right into how to use even one PowerPoint to create story ideas. Many of you struggle in this zone. You have all the information. You're brilliant. You're coaches, functional medicine practitioners, past nurses that are now wellness professionals, acupuncturists, etc. I'm speaking to all of you. And what I hear constantly is, I don't know what to say to my potential client. And if you are saying stuff to your potential client and it's not working, well, that's kind of the same problem anyway. I'm going to dive right in and show you a very simple way to pull out content ideas, story ideas from one existing PowerPoint. For those of you who have signed up and got the 7 ways to boost the immune system, this is actually a video that I take you through. And this is something that I had to learn for myself. So I wish that I would have understood this back in the beginning stages of my wellness business, but I didn't. So I'm going to download. This is actually the gut membership that we have. You can buy it in individual modules like this, or of course you can buy the entire 12 months and get access to the recipes as well. But I know a lot of you, like I said, kind of struggle in what to say and what story ideas to come up with. So before we go on any further, I want you to think about the places that you show up to build your visibility. Number 1, a PowerPoint can be used as a live. Number 2, a PowerPoint can be used as a pre-recorded video that you're going to upload on YouTube and release maybe that video every Thursday so that you start training your subscribers on YouTube to be on the lookout for that amazing, class that will be uploaded. You can, of course, do that pre-recorded. 2 is just like we're doing today. We are doing a live and I'm using a platform, StreamYard, and I'm going to different Facebook groups. I'm also streaming into YouTube. And then another one is a lot of you guys are doing workshops on IG. And so this is a really great way to be able to have a workshop that is very high value. Start to teach your potential client and pre-qualify them in that trust building phase to actually want to, opt in, convert, and actually go to that paid offer. So remember, PowerPoint's content, it can be used in so many ways. Now what I want to show you is how do you pull out some ideas? How do you pull out some ideas? Wait, this is actually not the updated one. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that. 2021. How do you pull out individual ideas? We just rebranded this look. I'm one for just changing it up if it needs to be. So how can you use one PowerPoint to even theme your month? Because a lot of us in the beginning stages of building our business, we have to do the nurturing, the list building. We have to pitch, of course, to people who would love our services, to be able to come in front of their people, and they do want you guys. Trust me, I did this myself. So here we have good health begins in the gut, an intro to gut health. So right here, I'm going to go through and look at some of the key points. There also is a guide that comes with this. So I'm going to be able to pull from that guide and start to write down my story ideas for 7 days. I like to just say, keep it simple at 7. I know we're all supposed to do content plans, for 30 days, but it can sometimes be overwhelming. So I'm going to write down number 1, your gut influences every aspect of your health. So that's going to be one content idea. And I'm going to think about like doing that maybe on a Monday. So I'm telling this succinct story throughout the week. So gut influences every aspect. I'm going to look at this in some of the key categories, such as, either my behind the scenes, a testimonial, my backstory. Maybe I'm going to share a personal story about, my immune system, energy, hormone, how they thought I had a pituitary tumor when I first met my husband. So I'm going to really infuse a little of my backstory so that I'm building trust with my ideal client. It doesn't mean my whole business is about my story, but that's where our potential client really starts to identify with us, and our ideal clients identify with stories. So I want you right now to take an action step and write down, what are some of the personal stories that you can be sharing? What are some of the stories of maybe a family or a friend or, a relative that you've helped, and you've helped in one of these 5 key aspects, which is why I'm going to actually say these 5 key aspects that maybe you didn't even know about gut health and how this is impacted. And I said this exactly to one of my membership, people in my membership. I said to her, most of us, our clients may not know the word perimenopause or leaky gut or SIBO. They might not know that this is affecting their unexplained weight gain or weight loss. It's our job to help our ideal client see how relative this is to them, and then add in some of these higher level words that most people only know when they've been diagnosed. So then I'm going to go into story number 2. I'm going to talk about these problems. Mood swings, stomach, constipation, IBS, skin, hair falling out, hair thinning, back acne. Thyroid irregularities. If, of course, I talk about PCOS, I'm going to talk about excessive hair, maybe on the face. If I'm dealing with, women that are new moms, of course, I'm going to talk about some of the new mom issues with some of the, problems that can be affected with the gut. Maybe it's going to be milk flow. Maybe it's going to be inability to produce milk, exhaustion, chronic fatigue, postpartum. I will then take this content and get specific. But the first step is I always like to write down the outline so that I have that, so I can move on to step 2, which is the empathy part, and really sitting there and saying, what are my ideal clients' like wake up problems right now? And then being able in step 2 to really massage that, that story and think, how am I going to get extremely specific? Because even if you're working one-on-one, we're using the online space for list building. And secondly, it also will increase your conversions, not only on list building in the online space, but when you're pitching to a local doctor's office, a wellness center, a school, you can get really specific, of course, in who you're speaking to. Then I'm going to sit there and talk day 3. I'm going to be talking about what causes these gut problems. And for each one of you, maybe you're going to have a different spin on it, because in your signature process, in your client journey, maybe you add in some other aspects of, why do you believe that gut gets out of bat? Maybe you're a mold specialist. Maybe you're an ADHD specialist. Maybe you work with people with, that once had cancer. Whatever it is, I'm sure that there are extra things that you're going to add in, but you start to at least have your content that you're going to talk about. Right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 things that I can talk about. That's day 3. Then on day 4, I'm going to feature my favorite kombucha. And I'm going to talk about the different kombuchas. I might even want to do that live in the market. this is one of I think my highest engaging lives and social media posts. I would go into like Whole Foods, I would go into my local market, I would go into what I call like tier two, maybe expensive market, like fresh market, or I would even show where you can buy them at your general store, showing people how easy it is. And then I would of course show them, what is my key fear that I have? How do I use cultured vegetables? Do I make them? Do I buy them? Then I'm going to come into that lifestyle. I could even in this lifestyle part, if I had a network marketing product, I can then talk about like, what is a network marketing product that does help me sleep? How do I manage my stress? Or maybe I'm going to talk about a client testimonial. Even if you are a new coach, you've helped people. You have definitely helped somebody. I promise you, write down 5 names that you have, even if it was coaching for free, or maybe you were doing an exchange because you wanted to do market research. You've worked with 5 people, you got them on the phone, and in exchange, maybe you gave them a 30 to 60 minute free session, and they were able to have a transformational result. Every one of us does transformational work. We just have to step into that ownership so you see that you have. This could also be for anybody who's fitness. This could actually be like you showing your rebounder, you showing some really cool things that maybe your ideal client knows, but they need somebody like you to really bring it into the present. So with that, we saw an entire, I think we mapped out 6. Right here, you even have a guide that you can go through step by step. And this, of course, is going to give you, a little, if you wanted to actually print this out, if you wanted to like say, on that last day, really talk about, the benefits of this guide, why somebody should DM you for this guide. The last day, if you did it like Monday to Monday, Sunday usually for me is a category where it is really talking about, I would say it's my like gratitude day. It's my day of slowness. It's my day of reflection. And I think that's general for most of us. So Sunday could even be a day that you talk about like self-care rituals for gut. Or you can even go into a deeper story. You see this on platforms like Instagram. Instagram, I would say, in my opinion, is a place that does require us to like get really vulnerable and share a lot of our behind the scenes. And so maybe on Instagram, or maybe even on your personal page on Facebook, you're not sending them to a call to action, but you're really talking about, your trials and tribulations, which is so much of the Donald Miller storytelling, or even many different marketing books. I'm looking at my marketing books. Many different marketing books, talk about this element of storytelling. And so maybe Sunday is really you doing like, hey, maybe we haven't met. It's your introduction, but it's also really going into that, story of the problem and the solution. So with the elements that we just talked about, like that week's story is kind of like, hey, let's get introduced to what this gut dysbiosis is all about. And let's talk about how it could be affecting you. You saw we talked about 5 core things: weight and hormones. So we know that this would be helpful for anybody in any niche. But the cool thing is that each one of you are very niche specific for your ideal client. And each one of you have different teaching pillars, which means that my approach to gut was detox, it was mindset, it was food elimination, detox being the pillar. But for you guys, some of you may be actually maybe it's ketogenic, or maybe it's AIP and mindfulness, and or maybe it's trauma and and talking about like the psychology of the inner critic. Each one of us have a different approach. So on Sunday, you can really showcase, why did you create this? Like, why is gut so important to you? Why do you feel that you had to, become a coach and educate on this? What were some of the things that impacted you? And so that might be a day where you, talk about, what was my life like? How did this dysbiosis impact me? How did it impact my children? Or, why did I get so inspired to do this? Because some of the struggles I had as a child, or some of the mental health issues I struggle as an adult because of the food and mood correlation. It's the opportunity to bring your potential client truly into your office, into your home, into your life. And so I wanted to show you how simple. A coach had asked me the other day, how can I use a PowerPoint or a guide? Like, I don't know tech. I'm so scared to do videos. How can I make this easy? I'm not showing up consistently, Rach, and because of that, I'm feeling like a failure. So I wanted to take this morning to just show you how simple content can be used, and that it doesn't just have to be used in this one way. It can be used for you to have consistency. The last part that I want you to think, so that you make March and April and May really strong months, setting you up for a healthy summer, which is the key of our business. This can also be used, say you're doing that on social media and you're showing those different elements, the call to action for any of you, and this doesn't require any level of tech. You can drive people to a community. Some people, of course, are building in a Facebook community. You might be building more in an IG community. Maybe you're bringing people into an application where there is a community kind of talk. Maybe people are coming into your Practice Better and you have a community in Practice Better, because I think at the highest level, that's an option. Maybe you're bringing people into a Slack. Maybe you're using Mighty Network. Maybe you're bringing people into, Kajabi has, I think, a feature of community. And even though that's free, as you see, many of you probably opt into courses these days, and you will opt in on the free workshop or this masterclass, and they're getting you onto their list, and you're able to, of course, view this course for free. Same thing you can do for Teachable. Same thing really you can do. I don't think Teachable has a community, but that call to action can just be, bringing people, of course, even to a Zoom call. And I will just end with that, is the goal. And we talk about automation, we talk about funnels a lot, which are, remember, it's just the client journey. It's different conversations at different steps for your ideal client, so that you're leading them, as long as they're right for you, to that paid opportunity. But you can even have people, and I saw a chiropractor do this. And he's a functional medicine testing as well. I saw him do this about 6 months ago, and all of his freebies actually lead to a once a week Zoom call. And it's really nice. There were like 40 people on. And I have to tell you, I almost bought from him because I thought, wow, this is so neat. And what did he do? He came on that week and he taught a PowerPoint. And then, of course, from that PowerPoint, which was the problem solver, he said, hey, if you want to go, further, the time I was dealing with some hyperthyroid, hire me. This is an example of what kind of information I see missing in the industry. And this is why I do what I do. So these guys, these these ways of building seriously are just, they're in my brain because they're things that I did. I haven't done the Zoom one. I think that's actually a really cool one, especially because a lot of us want a little more private interaction. And I've never tested out messenger rooms I've never tested out rooms on Facebook, but there are so many different ways to create that VIP experience without a headache, without feeling massively overwhelmed, and without thinking that you need every platform in the world. Platforms are great when they work for you and when you understand them, but too often I see coaches spend a lot of time on all these different fancy platforms that they have no idea how to use, instead of spending, as you saw, the first 10 minutes where we mapped out, we went step by step. So go back to the beginning. If you came in late, we talked about step 1, creating the story. Step 2, then coming back and filling in the blank of the content of what you're actually going to talk about. And the last part, which is just a tip of advice, and I gave this to a client yesterday. If you have an easier time talking out, most heart-based entrepreneurs do, because that real masculine side is the Excel spreadsheets and that kind of data. Or even if you're really in the feminine, flow, or even if you're in that masculine flow and you just have a tough time expressing what you do, shoot a 1-minute video, get it transcribed, or do message to text, and that exact message on your note, dictate to your note, that exact note becomes your social media post. And the same can be true if you have a video that you think is really great and you feel that you were able to really explain, the elements of gut, or even if you took that one PowerPoint and you thought, wow, what if I created 2-minute little videos on each one of those slides? Every one of those can be transcribed, and that's your caption. So keep it really simple. Remember, there's always these hacks and these tricks, and that's why I wanted to come in and show you how easy it can be. So with that being said, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you guys. If you have any questions, please hit me up at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. And I hope you have a good one. All right. See you guys later. Have a kick-ass morning. Happy Thursday. Ciao.